What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, and we're going to talk about this 10.5-inch upper receiver build from Aero Precision right here today. And if you guys haven't seen the other videos I've done on the Aero stuff and kind of trying to figure out what length and brake and everything I want to go with on my new work setup, check that 16 with that Gamma and that 14.5 with that Epsilon brake, because they may help you determine kind of what you are looking for if you're either going to build your first setup or what your intended purpose for it is. Now, when it comes to building or buying a setup, we kind of got to figure out our intended purpose and how short is too short and how long is too long. And I'm really curious to know what your preferred length is when it comes to ARs. And it may or may not be legal for you to own something like this, whatever state you live in. But I'm curious to know what your preferred length is. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what and why. So for a lot of us out there, there's going to come a time where we either have to rebuild or just kind of move on from a setup. Maybe we've shot it out, or maybe there's just better things out there, because things do change, and that's everything from parts to training. Now, for the past 8 to 10 years, I've been carrying this bad boy right here, which is my personal SBR, 10.5-inch barrel, and it has been absolutely awesome. But it's time, and at some point, we've got to just give it one last warm, loving embrace, look it deeply in the eyes and say, it's not you, it's me, I've moved on, I've grown, and we're just not gonna work out. And that's kind of time, for me right now, and I think it's just a different way to go. One, I think there's just kind of more comfortable, a little bit nicer rails out there, and I'm thinking maybe I want to go past the 10.5 and kind of have more of an all-around setup. Not that 10.5s can't be great. This specific setup right here, we were out doing some training several years back, trash talking as usual out there when you're training with your buddies, and we wanted to see who could shoot further standing. I think we made it out to about 200 yards out on the Phoenix Rod and Gun Club range. So I wanted to test out a couple of different lengths, a couple of different brakes, and a couple of different rail styles. Very quickly, let's talk about barrel steel, because a lot of people seem to get wrapped around the axle about that. 4150 chrome olive vanadium. That's that machine gun grade steel. So if you're running full auto, or you're out there, you're just mag dumping like a boss, you really probably want to look into 4150 over what 416R can give you. Those are two big things out there, two big nomenclatures you're probably going to hear when it comes to barrels. Now that 4150, it's a high carbon steel, does very well with heat. It lasts a little bit longer, highly corrosion resistant. So it is a very, very good barrel. Now 416R stainless steel is a treated stainless steel that will survive in Arctic temperatures. Due to the properties of that metal, it is very, very easy to get very detailed and good rifling in it. So it is known for being a little bit more accurate. Not going to last quite as long as a 4150 barrel, and depending on your skills and abilities, you may not see a difference in accuracy when it comes between the two. Some of you out there that are real precision people, you can chime in here. I am not a precision shooter by any stretch of the imagination. You probably know that a 416R barrel can be a little bit more accurate. Not quite as good with heat though. So still very corrosion resistant, but the 4150, depending on what you're doing, it may be the route to go. Now the VG6 stuff, awesome. We'll get into a little bit more of that after we check this thing out, but a good setup for sure. We're gonna go ahead and get into this thing right now. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into this 10.5-inch upper. I've got it separated from the lower because it's just too long to have under here and try to show you everything. So let's talk about this upper receiver real quick. So Aero's got some pretty nice clean lines, not overly done, not underly done, but it looks good, and they do make a great set of parts here. So make it easy as well. They've got a set screw in here for your forward assist rather than that roll pin, which a lot of people have trouble with on installation. It's a T-marked upper receiver. You can see the markings right in there. They're a little bit subdued, but you can see them. On the T markings, I've heard some weird explanations over the years on what those are. All those are is a marking of the slot. T stands for top, and the number stands for the number, and it goes every other to let you know where you mounted stuff. That's all that is. I've heard some weird explanations, but it stands for top 6, top 8, top 10, whatever. Good stuff, standard marked rail. or standard marked upper receiver there. We'll get into the bolt and charging handle in a minute. Moving forward, we can see we got that nice Atlas R1 rail right there. Very nice setup. We have QD mounts on the sides and the bottom. Good. Got M-lock, plenty of space for whatever the heck you want to throw on here. And they've got a really cool mounting system right there. I went over in that, I think the 16 or the 14.5 video, I showed the rail and the lockup. Very, very cool. Basically what that is that barrel nut is on there. It's got a slot in it that's kind of angled like this, and these two side portions right here, as they're screwed in by that turnbuckle screw from the side, they clamp around that like that, and they can't move forward or back or side to side. So it makes for a very, very good, solid, and quick mounting and easy mounting platform for people out there building. Got an aftermarket QD point up there because I like mine just a little bit further out. As far as the sights go, just got some Magpul M-Bus sights on there. Not what I would carry regularly because I don't like polymer sights. That's just my thing. BG6, they make great brakes. I just don't know what else to tell you. That one is the Delta. It's got the hole in it so you can pin and weld it if you have a shorter barrel and need to make it a 16 length overall. Very good setup. You can see, yeah, it's still on there. You can see my blood on there right there from the training I was doing. Gashed my hand up while working with this one. Good stuff. 4150 chromo vanadium barrel, 1 in 7 twist rate. Twist rate really quick. That has to do with what that bullet is doing while it's going down range. It needs to spin at a certain speed so you get the best ballistics out of it. If it spins too fast, it can fly apart. Spins too slow, it starts to wobble, just like your favorite quarterback. So that gives you kind of a quick and short explanation of what that is. 1 in 7 means for every 1 turn, that bullet moved 7 inches to fully rotate once. That's just... Charging handle is just one that I had, and I had a Yankee Hill extended latch laying around. Put it in there. It's 1 pin, very easy. Does everything I need it to. Standard charging handle. Nothing to write home to mom about. This is our phosphated bolt. I think I said this might have been the nitrided one. This is just a standard phosphate bolt. As you can see, it's marked MPI on the top, so magnetic particle inspected. It's high pressure tested. Has the proper staking on there. You really can't go wrong with Aero Precision's bolts. They're going to do everything you need them to. They are definitely good setups. So that is the quick down and dirty here about what we got going on with this Aero Precision 10.5 inch. So let's go ahead, check out some more of that range footage, talk a little bit more about this thing. So is the 10.5 inch good? Yes, depending on your intended purposes, but there are advantages and disadvantages. An advantage is something this short and the 10.5 like that from Aero, it's gonna be light. You're gonna cut a lot of weight off that thing, and things do add up over time. But you are getting some different things out of that. Another advantage is less rail. Guys, a lot of rail, and they just wanna pack stuff on it and put things on there. So that could be an advantage or a disadvantage. It's kind of like that old saying is, if you're going out, look at yourself in the mirror and take one piece of jewelry off if you're a female. That's kind of how it goes with guys and their rails. So definitely could be something there. Now the 10.5 is also very maneuverable. If you're working in very close, tight positions in and out of vehicles and stuff, it can be very, very nice to have something short like this, and it could save you some time and be a little bit more easy to move around with. And then of course you're getting that Aero VG6 quality, and you're getting that good price as well. So what are some of those negatives? Obviously a barrel this short, we all obviously are gonna understand we're gonna have diminished ballistics. We're not gonna be able to reach out as far, the bullet's not gonna do everything that it could, and we're just not gonna have the best out of it. So it really depends on your intended range. Negative could be it doesn't have much rail. You may need more of a rail. That may be very cramped if you've got to have a light, a PEC 15, pressure pad, all kinds of different stuff on here. It may not be enough for you to work with. And then the shorter the barrel, you're going to have a diminished barrel life. It's not going to give you as many rounds out of it, but generally barrels aren't that expensive to replace, so that could be a non-issue as well. It really just comes down to your intended purpose, and I'm really curious to know what is your kind of preferred length and why, or do you have multiple setups? So definitely let me know down below. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification icon. Support the channel, and I thank all of you out there that already have. You can check that subscribe star link on down below. Go ahead, get out there, guys. Have some fun. I will have that next video coming up on the Ballistic Advantage setup. If you want to see the 14 and the 16, those links are below too. Get out there on the range. I will see you guys on the next one.